Google has a new tablet in the works, and this one comes with some souped-up cameras and sensors. Joining us with all the details is the Wall Street Journal's Rolfe Winkler. Hi, Rolfe. Thanks for being here.
Hi, how are you?
Good. So what can we expect from this new tablet? What kind of new features does it have?
Well, it's going to have a 7-inch display, and it comes with 2 back cameras. It comes with infrared depth sensors and advanced software that really can process 3D images. That's what we know. That's what our sources are telling us. And
we're seeing more tech companies that seem to be in this kind of advanced vision technology right now. What's the draw of that?
Well, you know, it's new, and there are potentially some very interesting possibilities that come out of technologies like this. So this tablet is part of Google's Project Tango, we understand, which they showed off earlier this year, a smartphone that in effect you could walk around with it and hold it up, and it would draw a very detailed indoor map, for instance, for you, which could be great for indoor navigation. It could also be used for things like really immersive video games. There's actually a very cool video online you can see, and people are thinking about a lot of potential for these kinds of advanced vision technologies.
So how do you close that gap, Rolfe, between, you know, just because we can scan something and turn it into a 3D image, how do you actually use it if you're the person buying the tablet? How do companies deal with that?
Well, that's a good question that you're alluding to here, which is we don't really know what we're going to use this technology for, which is why this tablet, like the other Project Tango smartphone, is only going to be released in limited quantities to developers. We've heard about 4,000 are going to be made, and they're going to go to developers. And the idea is the developers will create the kind of applications that will make products like this useful. And this is actually fairly common with Google.
Now, this is interesting, though, because you don't see that with Apple. With Apple, we know very little about their products, or, you know, they try to make sure that we know very little about their products before they're released. Is this an intentional strategy with Google to get that stuff out to developers and try to develop these kind of commercial purposes?
Absolutely. So, for instance, with Google Glass, it's something that's been out. They unveiled it in 2012, and only recently has it been made available to anyone who really wants to buy it, who has the $1,500. But the idea was get it out there in the public, dog food it. That's the verb that the people at Google like to use. Dog food it in public, get the kinks out, and have developers come up with some very interesting applications to see if one of these new kinds of devices will be useful. In the case of Google Glass, you have a great app called Word Lens that is from a company called Quest Visual Google just bought, where you could literally look at a sign in a different language, and it will translate it for you into whatever language you want. It's sort of superimposed. It's sort of augmented reality. It's very neat, and I think with the Project Tango devices, you're going to see something similar where Google will give it to developers in the hopes that they'll come up with some really interesting applications that we haven't even thought about yet.
All right, it'll be interesting to see what apps they do come up with for this new tablet. Rolfe, thanks for being here.
Thank you.